Hello, boys and girls. Today, our assignment or our lesson and your assignment will be on subtracting mixed numbers, but there's a twist. We are going to have to regroup with the numbers that we subtract today. So I have our steps listed on the screen before we get started. You will always find your common denominator first, just like we've been doing the whole chapter. Then we're going to stack up our numbers like we did in yesterday's lesson. We will regroup if we need to, because remember, if you have a smaller number on top, you can't, if I have 4, I can't take away 5, right? I don't have 5. So we'll have to regroup just like in regular subtraction. And then we're going to actually subtract. So we are just going to do one problem together today. And then if you need extra help, please let me know. And we will set up a time to Zoom or do a phone call, whatever is easiest for you to help you better understand this lesson. But we are starting out with the problem 6 1/3 minus 1 2/5. We need to find a common denominator between 3 and 5. So we're going to list the multiples of 3 and 5. So list them with me. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and we'll stop there. Now we're going to list the multiples of 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We'll stop there. Do you see the lowest common denominator, or what multiple do they have in common? 15. So 15 is going to be our new denominator, right? I'm not going to rewrite those whole numbers yet. I'm just going to redo my fractions right now, and we'll rewrite the whole numbers on the next slide. Okay, so how did I get from 3 to 15? I multiplied by 5. So if I multiply by 5 on the bottom, what do I do to the top? Multiply by 5. And 1 times 5 is 5, okay? And then how did I get from 5 to 15? I multiplied by 3. So if I multiply by 3 on the bottom, I've got to multiply by 3 on the top. So 2 times 3 is 6. And now I can just write those whole numbers down. So I now have 6 5/15 minus 1 6/15. I'm going to go ahead and stack these up for us on a new board so we can start subtracting. Alrighty, so all I did was stack my whole numbers one on top of the other, 6 minus 1, and I also stacked my fractions, 5/15 minus 6/15. Okay, I know my denominator is going to stay the same, so I'm going to go ahead and drop my denominator. Now, if I have 5, can I take away 6? I can't, guys. So here's where we have to regroup, and here's how we do it. We know that we've got to go next door and take 1 from the 6, right? So our 6 becomes a what? A 5, just like in normal subtraction. Here's what's a little different. Our denominator is 15. So we're bringing over one whole number to add to 5/15. Well, we need that to be in fraction form in order to add them together. So what would one whole be if my denominator is 15? It would be 15 over 15, right? That's one whole. It means I have 15 out of 15, so I have 1. No matter what your denominator is, if you're bringing over 1, then your numerator is the same as your denominator. So we're adding 15 to 5. So our 5 actually becomes a 20 because we're adding 15 to 5. Now we can subtract. 20 minus 6 is what? If you're not sure, stack it up on the side. Got to regroup. 10 minus 6 is 4. Bring down my 1. So it's 14. So my 14 is my numerator. And then I have 6 minus 1? No, remember I had to regroup and this 6 became a 5. So I have 5 minus 1 and I get 4. So my answer is 4 and 14 over 15. So I'm going to practice showing you how we get that 1 really quick before you do your assignment. So okay, if I have 3 6 and I'm adding 1 to it, how am I going to turn that 1 into a fraction? It would be 6 over 6. And I would add 6 plus 3 is 9, and my denominator would stay the same. Remember, whatever your denominator is, when the numerator is the same, this equals 1. If I have 6 out of 6, I have 1 whole. So when you bring over 1, when you're subtracting, just like we did here, when we brought over the 1 that we took away from our 6, we had to bring over 15 because that equals 1 whole in this problem. Okay, let's try one more together. If I had 2/16 and I was bringing over 1 whole, what would I be bringing over? 16/16. Because that is 1 whole when our denominator is 16. 16 plus 2 is 18, and my denominator would stay 16. That is really the only difference between today's lesson and yesterday's lesson, is that when you regroup, you have to make sure that you bring over 1 whole, and that is whatever your denominator is, your numerator is the same. And then you add your numerators and your denominator stays the same, and then you will continue subtracting. That is why step 3 is regroup if you need to. And I'll go ahead and tell you in today's problems, you're going to need to regroup. So before I go, I'm going to show you what your assignment is going to look like. See if I can pull it up really quick. Alrighty, so when you get to your assignment, it will say subtracting mixed numbers with renaming. Okay, you are then going to have problems right here, and these are actually the problems you're going to have. And the fractions look a little different. This is just 5 and 2/5. So the first number is the whole number, and then the next numbers are the fractions. So this is 5 and 2/5 minus 3 and 4/5, and they all have a whole number and then a fraction afterwards. So once you have regrouped and found your answer, you'll click in the box, and your answer choices are actually going to pop up for you. So it's not multiple choice, but it's kind of like matching or fill in the blank with a word bank. So you're going to pick whatever answer you have, and then it'll black it out once you get to the next problem. These are not the actual answers. I'm just randomly clicking, but you see how now I only have 2 options left because I only have 2 answer choices left. So you do have choices to choose from. So if you work out your problem and your answer choice is not in here, guess what? You might need to work it out again, because these are going to be the answers that you have to choose from for your problems. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day and have a great Thanksgiving break. I will see you guys in a week.